In the heart of Agbadrafo stood École Secondaire Etoile du Matin, a school built with white walls and green hope. Every morning, the first bell would ring out at 6, and children would pour through the gates like a rushing river. But among them, one boy walked as if the sun itself had chosen to follow him. He was 16, with skin the color of polished teak and hair, styled in a perfect low fade. His eyes, the warm, rich color of river clay, held a wisdom and kindness that seemed beyond his years. His name, Kofi, meant born on Friday, and it felt like every Friday, the entire village smiled a little wider because of him. Kofi's father was a cocoa king, a man of influence and means. He drove a silver Peugeot that purred like a contented leopard. Whenever that car rolled through the school gates, a ripple of whispers would follow Le Papa de Kofi encore. Kofi's father is here again. Teachers would instinctively straighten their ties, and the headmaster would appear at his office door. The man would step out, always dressed in impeccable cream linen, a gold watch flashing on his wrist, and he would greet everyone, even the gateman by name, with a warm, genuine smile. Kofi was never alone. He had a tight-knit group of 5 friends. His shadows, there was Yao, with his short dreads tied back with a single red string, his eyes narrow and watchful like a cat's. Then came Kwame, with a sharp buzz cut and cheeks as round and soft as a ball of fufu. Mosa had cornrows so tight they looked like patterns carved into his scalp, reflecting the rhythm of joy. Amadi's afro was a proud, magnificent crown. And finally, there was Jane, whose short twists were parted as cleanly as a river splitting its banks. They did everything together. They shared their lunch under the shade of the mango trees, their laughter echoing across the courtyard. They would even pass a single pen between them during exams, a silent pact of unity. To anyone watching, they were inseparable, a band of brothers. But in the quiet, hidden corners of their hearts, a slow-acting poison was beginning to grow, drop by drop. It was a subtle thing, almost invisible. It started whenever Kofi raised his hand in math class and the teacher, Monsieur Dia, would clap his hands together and exclaim, "Bravo, Kofi! Excellent!" His friends would smile, their teeth showing, but their eyes held a different story, a silent question. Why isn't me? When Kofi arrived at school each morning, his white shirt crisp and perfectly pressed, his trousers with a crease sharp enough to cut paper, they whisper amongst themselves just out of his earshot, "It thinks he is better than us." The resentment deepened whenever Kofi's father visited. He'd arrive not just with a kind word, but with crates of sweet biscuits for the entire class and envelopes, thick with francs for the school's fund. The boys would bow respectfully, their voices polite and rehearsed. "Bonjour, monsieur." But as soon as his father Espak was turned and the silver Peugeot was out of sight, they'd gather behind a wall, and the hissing would start. "It's just his money. He's not even that smart. Always showing off." Him and his father. The compliments they gave to his face soured into criticism behind his back. Kofi, blissfully unaware, heard none of it. He was wrapped in a cocoon of genuine friendship, or so he believed. He happily shared his biscuits, making sure everyone got one before he took any for himself. He would lend his meticulously written notes without a second thought to anyone who missed a class. He laughed the loudest at their jokes, his head thrown back, his joy pure and in his world, these 5 boys were his brothers, bound by loyalty and shared memories. He was so tragically, deeply wrong. The foundation of their friendship was cracking, and he was about to fall right through. The turning point came during the regional science fair. It was the biggest event of the school year, a chance for students from all over the maritime region to showcase their ingenuity. The grand prize was a full scholarship to a prestigious university in Lome, a life-changing opportunity. Kofi, who had a passion for botany, had been working for months on a project about the medicinal properties of the neem tree. He spent his weekends in the bush with his grandfather, gathering leaves, documenting local remedies, and conducting his own small experiments. His project board was a masterpiece of detail and dedication. His friends had projects too, but theirs were put together more hastily. Yao had built a miniature water pump, but it kept leaking. Kwame had a volcano that used baking soda and vinegar, a classic but uninspired choice. They saw the effort Kofi was putting in, the late nights he spent poring over books, and the poison in their hearts grew stronger. On the day of the fair, the school courtyard was buzzing with excitement. Kofi's display was attracting a lot of attention. The judges, 2 professors from the university, spent nearly 20 minutes at his table, asking him questions and nodding in approval. From across the hall, his friends watched. They saw the judges' impressed faces. They heard the murmurs from the crowd. "That boy is brilliant." And in that moment, The envy that had been simmering for so long finally boiled over into a concrete plan. They gathered in a tight huddle, their faces grim. "He can't win," Mouso whispered, his voice sharp. "It's not fair. His father probably bought him all those fancy supplies." "We have to do something," Yao agreed, his cat-like eyes glinting. Later that afternoon, during the final judging round, when everyone was distracted by a demonstration at the main stage, the 5 friends put their plan into action. It was Zhang, the quiet one with the parted twists, who did the deed. He walked casually past Kofi's table, pretending to be looking at the project next to it. With us with almost invisible movement, he switched Kofi's carefully prepared vials of neem extract with vials of plain colored water he had hidden in his pocket. He then loosened a critical support on the back of Kofi's display board. It was a simple, devastating act of sabotage. A few minutes later, when the judges returned for their final deliberation, they asked Kofi to demonstrate one of his experiments. He picked up a vial, confident and smiling, and mixed its contents into a solution. Nothing happened. A confused silence fell over the table. Kofi tried again, his hands starting to tremble slightly. Still nothing. As he leaned forward in confusion, the loosened display board wobbled and collapsed, sending his carefully arranged leaves and charts scattering across the floor. A gasp went through the crowd. Kofi stood frozen, his face a mask of shock and humiliation. He looked up, and his eyes met those of his friends. He saw them standing together, their faces a mixture of faint surprise and something else, a flicker of triumph. And in that instant, Kofi understood. The smiles, the laughter, the shared panit had all been a lie. The poison he had never noticed had finally done its work. The judges moved on, their faces filled with pity. The scholarship, the dream, was gone. But Kofi had lost something far more valuable that day. He had lost his brothers, and the innocence that believed in their love. The sun that had always seemed to follow him had finally set, leaving him alone in the cold shadow of betrayal. The white walls of the school suddenly felt like a prison, and the green hope had withered and died. Thank you so much for watching. This story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest dangers come from those we hold closest. If you were moved by Kofi's story, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever experienced a moment that changed your view of friendship? Share your story. Until next time, take care.